Welcome to Divyankura, the Knowledge Bureau. In today's video, I will provide you the answer of MEG-2 RTC asked in December 2023 Term-End Exam of Indira Gandhi National Open University, in short, IGNOU. Question number 1. A. Hell hath no limits, nor is circumscribed in one self-space, for where we are is hell, and where hell is, there must we ever be. Marks 5. Answer. Reference. These lines are uttered by Mephistopheles in the drama The Tragical History of the Life and Death of Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe, premiered in 1592. Context. Mephistopheles warns Faustus about the horrors of hell. He knows all too well the terrible reality of hell, and this knowledge drives him to warn Dr. Faustus to think twice before selling his soul to Lucifer. Explanation. In the above mentioned lines, one can clearly understand Mephistopheles is concerned about Dr. Faustus. He is committed to Faustus's damnation. He has appeared to Faustus because of his hope that Faustus will renounce God and swear allegiance to Lucifer. Yet, Mephistopheles seems to be urging Faustus against selling his soul. There is a hint of parallelism flowing through these lines. There is a parallel between the experience of Mephistopheles and that of Dr. Faustus. Like Faustus, Mephistopheles was once a prideful angel who took Lucifer's side and rebelled against God. As a result, he damned forever for his sin. Perhaps these lines are a kind of lamentation rather than a prideful confession. Because of his own damnation, Mephistopheles tries to stop Faustus from selling his own soul and facing eternal damnation in hell. Critical comment. Dr. Faustus is the masterpiece of Christopher Marlowe. The mentioned two lines are an excellent example of blank verse. There's the use of chiasmus, which is a rhetoric, in the second line. Where we are his hell, and where hell is, there must we ever be, as two parts of this sentence is reversed. Question 1b. But you have no idea how frightfully interesting it is to take a human being and change her into a quite different human being by creating a new approach for her. It's filling up the deepest gulf that separates class from class and soul from soul bed. To listen to him talking or reading to me, I had to fight back my tears. Marks 5. Reference. These lines are spoken by Henry Higgins in the Act 3 of the play Pygmalion, published in 1912 by George Bernard Shaw. Context. During a conversation between Henry Higgins and his mother, Mrs. Higgins, he tells her that how difficult it is to teach Eliza Doolittle and what pains he is taking in doing so. He tells her that this is the most difficult work he had ever taken. Explanation. Higgins tells her mother that he is not merely teaching Eliza phonetics and good manners, but he is also changing her soul. She can never realize that how interesting this task is to change a person into a quite different personality by creating a new speech for the purpose. He took a poor, shabby, ill-mannered flower girl and is making an entirely different woman of her. He is giving her training in each and every aspect to make her fitted for the middle-class society. Apparently, he is trying to build a bridge between different classes. Therefore, he is performing an act of social reform. Critical comment. In the above given lines, Higgins has tried to trace out the problems that he is facing in Eliza's education. He tells his mother that his work is very didactic, as it can be a way to fill the gulf that separates one class from another and one soul from another. His act is an act of creation. No one else can feel the pleasure he is getting from this most difficult task. Question 1c. They know and do not know what it is to act or suffer. They know and do not know that action is suffering and suffering is action. neither does the action suffer nor the patient act, but both are fixed. Marks 5. Reference. These lines are uttered by Archbishop Thomas Becket in Part 1 of Murder in the Cathedral, written by Thomas Stearns Eliot, published in 1935. Context. The second priest scolded the chorus, made up of common women of Canterbury, for not to talk about their worries regarding the fate of the Archbishop of Canterbury, because after a long period of 7 years, Thomas Becket is finally going to return to the Canterbury Cathedral in England. In that very moment, Thomas Becket, the Archbishop of Canterbury, arrived and delivered the given speech. Explanation. When Becket utters the given lines, he himself became the agent in one sense. He sets the wheel rolling. These lines foreshadow the upcoming temptations or suffering he has to face to be killed. But in another sense, he is neither the agent nor the patient, since action and suffering proceed from God's will and not his own. It also suggests that acting and suffering are interdependent and are a fundamental pattern of existence. The crux of this verse is to understand the meaning of suffering. Here, suffering does not mean undergoing pain in the modern sense, rather, it serves as a counterpart concept to action, common in Eliot's works. Critical comment. In the first two lines, they know and do not know is repeated twice, making it an example of anaphora. In the second and third line, the phrase action is suffering and suffering is action reverts their position, making it an example of chiasmus. Question 1 D. Sweet Helen, make me immortal with a kiss. Her lips suck forth my soul. See where it flies. Come, Helen, come, give me my soul again. Here will I dwell, for heaven is in these lips, and all is dross that is not Helena. Marks 5. Reference. Dr. Faustus uttered these lines in the drama The Tragical History of the Life and Death of Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe, premiered in 1592. Context. Near the end of the play, Dr. Faustus gave this speech when he begins to realize the terrible nature of the bargain he has made. Despite his sense of foreboding, Faustus takes delight to look for transcendence in a woman who may be an illusion and not even real. Explanation. Faustus repeatedly dismisses his opportunities of redemption and chooses the path of damnation. He seeks heavenly grace in Helen's lips, which can merely offer earthly pleasure. Throughout the play, Faustus continues to display the same blind spots and wishful thinking that characterize his behavior. After he gains the magical power in exchange of his soul, Faustus misuses his power in insignificant things. Now he realizes it is impossible for him to attain redemption, therefore, he urges Helen, an illusory figure, to return his soul through earthly pleasure. Critical comment. There are many instances in the play where Faustus takes some form of pleasure from physical and sensual things. He ceases to become the seeker of knowledge but becomes the seeker of pleasure. Here, Helen represents the dangerous beauty of evil, the seduction of the past, and the desire for things pleasurable. Question 1e. I shall make a duchess of this draggle-tailed gutter-snipe. Marks 5. Reference. The above-mentioned lines is spoken by Henry Higgins in the Act 2 of the play Pygmalion, published in 1912 by George Bernard Shaw. Context. In this line, Higgins tells his wish to make Eliza a duchess. Further, he insulted Eliza by calling her draggle-tailed gutter-snipe, which means a filthy slum girl, instead of her name. Explanation. Eliza has come to Professor Higgins and expresses her wish for English lesson so that she may get a job as an assistant in a ladies' flower shop. Higgins has accepted the proposal. Mrs. Pierce, Higgins's maid, requests Colonel Pickering not to encourage Higgins in this foolish deed. Higgins responds to this and says that what is life but a series of inspired follies? The only difficulty in one's way is to find a chance to commit such follies. And if one ever happens to get a chance, one must not let the chance pass, rather than one should take the benefit of it and commit follies. Furthermore, he expresses his wish to make Eliza a duchess. Eliza belongs from the lower strata of society. She is dirty and ill mannered. Her lower class accent makes it worse. Higgins ordered Mrs. Pierce to wash her and dress her with the fine clothes. By changing her speech, Higgins wants to change Eliza completely, therefore making her status that of a duchess. Critical comment: Duchess is a wife of Duke who is of upper strata of society. Higgins wants to change Eliza by educating her standard speech accent and transforming her from head to toe with fine clothing so that she can mix with the upper class. This line also reveals Higgins's characteristic that he is indifferent to her feelings and emotions. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for further videos.